Harrison Blake sat on the park bench reviewing contracts on his tablet, trying to enjoy the autumn sunshine during his lunch break. At 39, he built a real estate empire worth hundreds of millions. But moments of peace were rare. The park near his office building offered a brief respite from the constant demands of business. He was absorbed in reviewing a property acquisition when a small voice interrupted him. "Excuse me, sir. Please, I need your help." Harrison looked up to find a little girl, maybe 5 years old, standing in front of him with tears streaming down her face. She wore a pale pink dress and had blonde curly hair pulled back with clips. Her blue eyes were wide with desperation. "What's wrong? Are you lost? Where are your parents?" Harrison asked, immediately concerned. "My mommy's over there." The girl pointed to a woman in the distance, surrounded by what looked like a birthday party setup with balloons and decorations. "But I need you to pretend you're my dad. Please." Harrison blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "Please, sir. Just for a little bit. Pretend you're my dad. I'll explain, but please, you have to help me." The urgency in her voice was palpable. "Sweetheart, I can't just pretend to be your father. That's not appropriate. Let me take you back to your mother." "No, you don't understand." The girl pulled something from her dress pocket, a photograph, and held it up with trembling hands. "Please, look." Harrison took the photo, and his breath caught. It was a picture of a young couple, clearly in love. The woman was the same blonde he'd seen near the party setup. The man had dark hair, a warm smile, and wore a blue suit remarkably similar to the one Harrison was wearing today. "That's my daddy," the girl said, her voice breaking. "He died last year. Today is my birthday, and all the other kids have their daddies here. And I just wanted. She couldn't finish, dissolving into sobs. Harrison felt his heart shatter. He looked at the photograph again, at the resemblance he bore to this child's deceased father, at the party in the background, where other fathers were playing with their children, and made a decision that would change everything. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily." "Okay, Lily. I'm Harrison. I'll help you. But we need to talk to your mommy first, and make sure she's okay with this. Deal?" Lily nodded vigorously and grabbed his hand, pulling him toward the party. The woman, who Harrison could now see was in her early 30s, with kind eyes and an exhausted smile, was setting up cake plates when she saw them approach. Her face went pale. "Lily, what did you do?" She rushed over. "I'm so sorry, sir." "Whatever she asked you for, Mommy, look." Lily held up the photo. "He looks like Daddy. He can pretend for the party." "Please, Mommy. All the other kids have their dads and I just wanted." "Lily, no." The woman's voice cracked. "We talked about this. Daddy's not here, and we can't ask strangers to." She broke off, looking at Harrison with a mixture of mortification and desperation. "I'm so sorry. She's been having a hard time. This is her first birthday without her father." Harrison looked at the party setup, at the children running around with their parents, at Lily's tear-stained face, and at this mother clearly trying to hold it together for her daughter. "I'm Harrison Blake, and if you're comfortable with it, I'm happy to stay for a bit. Help with the party. No pressure, no expectations. Just a stranger doing something kind for a little girl's birthday." The woman stared at him. "You can't be serious. You don't owe us anything." "You're right, I don't. But your daughter asked for help, and I can give it. Unless you'd rather I leave?" The woman looked at Lily's hopeful expression, then back at Harrison. "I'm Sarah Mitchell. This is insane. But if you're truly willing, just for an hour or so, as long as you need." What Harrison thought would be an hour turned into 3. He found himself helping with party games, pushing kids on swings, and somehow naturally falling into the role Lily had asked him to play. He didn't pretend to be her father exactly, but he was present in a way that clearly meant everything to the child. When it was time to cut the cake, Lily insisted Harrison stand next to her and her mother. As Sarah lit the candles, Lily looked up at Harrison with such trust and gratitude that he felt tears sting his own eyes. After the party ended and the last guests left, Sarah was cleaning up while Lily played nearby. Harrison stayed to help, gathering decorations and packing up leftover food. "Thank you," Sarah said quietly. "You didn't have to do any of this." Stay, I mean. Help. Be so kind to her. She showed me a photo of her father. The resemblance is probably coincidental, but the love in that photo wasn't. I couldn't walk away after seeing that. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Michael died in a car accident 14 months ago. Lily's been struggling, especially with birthdays and holidays. She sees other kids with their fathers and asks why hers had to go to heaven. I never know what to say. I'm sorry. That's an impossible loss. Today, she asked if maybe God could send someone who looked like Daddy, just for her birthday. When she saw you on that bench, Sarah wiped her eyes. I should have stopped her. It was too much to ask of a stranger. She didn't ask too much. She asked for exactly what she needed. Harrison pulled out his business card. This is going to sound strange, but I'd like to stay in touch. Check in on how you both are doing. Maybe help if you need it. Sarah looked at the card, her eyes widening. Harrison Blake, Blake Properties. You're that Harrison Blake? I am. But today, I was just someone who happened to be sitting on a bench when a little girl needed help. The business doesn't matter. It matters to me. I can't accept charity from a millionaire. It's not charity. It's connection. Sarah, I've spent 15 years building a company. I'm successful by every measure except the ones that count. I have no family, no children, no one waiting at home. Today, for 3 hours, I got to feel what it's like to matter to someone, to make a child smile. If anything, Lily gave me more than I gave her. Sarah studied him for a long moment. Okay, we can stay in touch, but no expectations, no obligations. Just friends. Friends, Harrison agreed. Over the next months, Harrison became a fixture in Lily and Sarah's lives. He showed up for Lily's school play, helped Sarah with car repairs she couldn't afford, took them to dinner and museums. But more than the material help, he provided presence. He was there. Sarah, in turn, showed Harrison what it meant to build a life around people instead of profit. She introduced him to her community, to potlucks and park days and Sunday dinners that had nothing to do with business and everything to do with connection. 6 months after that birthday party, Harrison took Sarah and Lily back to the same park bench where they'd met. This is where Lily found me, he said to Sarah, where she asked me to pretend to be her dad. I still can't believe she had the courage to do that, Sarah said. I can't. She knew what she needed, and she asked for it. Harrison knelt down to Lily's level. Lily, when we met, you asked me to pretend to be your dad. I can never replace your real dad. He loved you so much, and he'll always be your daddy. But I love you too, and I love your mom. Would it be okay if I stopped pretending and became part of your real family instead? Lily's eyes went huge. You mean forever? If your mom says yes. Harrison turned to Sarah and pulled out a ring. You showed me that the photo Lily carried wasn't just about resemblance. It was about love and presence and showing up when it matters. I want to show up for both of you, every day, for the rest of our lives. Will you marry me? Sarah was crying too hard to speak, but she nodded yes. Lily threw her arms around Harrison's neck. Now I have 2 daddies. One in heaven and one here. That's even better than just one. A year later, at their small wedding, Lily served as flower girl, proudly carrying a bouquet alongside a framed photo of her first father. In his vows, Harrison told the story of a little girl asking a stranger for help. Lily showed me a photograph and asked me to pretend, but what she really did was show me who I could become. Not a pretend father, but a real one. Not a millionaire playing charity, but a man learning to love. She taught me that sometimes the most important business we can conduct is the business of showing up for people who need us. He looked at his wife and daughter. Thank you for asking me to pretend. Thank you for letting me stay. Thank you for showing me that the greatest success isn't measured in properties or profits, but in being someone a child trusts enough to ask for help. Lily raised her juice glass. I asked Mr. Harrison to pretend to be my daddy, and then he became my real daddy. So always ask for what you need, because pretend things can become real when people love you. Sometimes miracles look like children brave enough to ask strangers for impossible things. Sometimes they look like photographs carried in pockets, and resemblances that might be coincidence or fate. Sometimes they look like men successful in business, but empty in heart, finding purpose in a child's birthday party. And sometimes, what starts as pretend becomes the most real thing in our lives. When we're brave enough to say yes to unexpected invitations, and wise enough to recognize love when it finds us. If this story touched you, like, share, and subscribe. Comment about times when saying yes to an unusual request changed your life, or when children taught you about courage. Your stories remind us that the best moments often begin with someone asking us to step outside our comfort zone.